Okay, before I start this, maybe I just kind of share this. This was like kind of a trial and error from like 2 years ago when we all started getting together, yeah. And the trial and error was back then, 2 years ago, was kind of one hunch when we started looking at title until my court case. Once I went beat the court case in the jury trial, this became the hospice to everything else. They're going to follow up by telling families, okay, this is not one theory we're talking about, yeah? This is all these trials and errors that we went through, 17 years of litigation that got us to this point of clarity as pertaining to where we are as Kuleana landowners and whether or not we even do have an interest out there. Some families may find that, okay, there's like 3 kupuna that was left on the title, all 3 of them will sell the interest over. But still, if you understand how the mahele will work and you read the mahele, yeah, there's some discrepancies in there too that would be subject under another jurisdiction or a monarchical jurisdiction, yeah, which is the king or the crown. So that gotta be dealt in a higher court like the Hague, because there is no court here in the state of Hawaii that every time when there's a land battle, it's in the circuit court, which is the wrong court, because it's all based on criminal or civil proceedings. When you talk about land in Hawaii, it's supposed to be in land court. We don't have land court in Maui, yeah? The land court is in Oahu. So kind of interesting on how all of a sudden we end up in one de facto court here in Maui by judges who are on the bench for other reasons besides lands. Kind of interesting. So understanding and knowing all these kinds of things made us kind of pursue, for clarity purposes, where we stand in the jurisdictional border or that line. And if you ask me, we stay on the right side of the border. Everybody else stay on the wrong side of the border. That's just the way I look at it. So I start off by saying, you know, everybody got to understand your inherent right to self-determination. And back then, when I was affiliated with Kalahui, Hawaii, it was all about self-determination. What is self-determination? Self-governing, another entity out there which is a de facto has no right or jurisdiction to tell you what to do, yeah? Because there's no laws that supersede what they're talking about when it comes to Kuleana Land, Kuleana rights to water, Kuleana access, all these kinds of things. It's fictitious to one point as to where, you know, a lot of our families that fall under the so-called de jure government all of a sudden lost their rights, all based on being educated by some other system before us, yeah, the Department of Education. For me, going to school, they never taught us that, you know, Hawaii was illegally overthrown. Only today they're talking about that, right? So because of that, it was always one question of where we stand in a status quo as Kanaka Maoli or Native Hawaiians to this land. And we're not Native Hawaiians, okay? Native Hawaiians is a derivative of something that they created, because there is things, amenities out there that are only meant for Native Hawaiians, and it all boils down to a blood quantum. Yeah, so we Hawaiians are subjected by a liquid measurement. That's all bogus. So let's get to the real story. Okay? So knowing what your inherent rights to self-determination is, yeah, once you find that key, once you open that door, mind you now, there's no return after that. Once you walk in that door, that's it. You cannot have both worlds. You can only have one. Okay? When people say, oh, a rights to self-determination because I'm a denizen of the state of Hawaii, that's all kaka that. You're either Kanaka Maoli or you're not Kanaka Maoli. It's the bottom line. when they subject you to being a part of their so-called regime or process, yeah, you either the big end or the small end, yeah, and the small end, Native Hawaiian, or the big end, Native Hawaiian. Native Hawaiian under the big end, you fall under the Hawaii State Constitution. The small Hawaiian falls under the U.S. State Constitution, which means anybody who get 49% blood, nothing. You get 50% plus, there's something out there that the state can provide you with. So they palu you, yeah? You throw the palu, just so you feed on that and you manifest on that and you stuck on it, because all of a sudden, that's all you think you're ever going to have. So you're complying yourself to their so-called jurisdiction on how they determine you in order for you to get something back. Okay? For me, I know that Kipuka up there, when my father said, we got to go home, and we got to do them now, we went home. And from that day, when we went home, we never went turn back. And when we never went turn back, we found out a lot of things that want to educate us about being not just off the grid, yeah, not just being a subject to the environment or Kuleana, but also start to learn about the state's responsibility, the county's lack of responsibility, yeah, and the federal government over there trying to show you the policy, walk this way, we can help you out. We can solve all your problems. That's all traps. Remember now, that's all traps. Okay? So let me get to the presentation. The inherent right to self-determination. Okay, so passing of generational knowledge, knowing your vahipana inside and out, malama your past, and they shall malama you, and always know who your friends are. Okay? Why I picked these 4 bullets? The passing of generational knowledge. When Kupuna tell you something, you got to remember that and you got to stick to it. You cannot change the story, because you can change the whole acronym. You got to stay the course in everything that you taught. When one passed on from one generation to the next generation to the next generation, you just got to follow through with everything. Knowing your vahipana inside and out, okay? How many of you know about, let's say, 10 square blocks of where you live? Say for instance, let's say Lahaina. Okay, Lahaina, Nahiana's glass house was across the street. The Halepula was over there. The sacred site of Moku'ula, which is an island, and the local of Mokuhinia was here. The Haola stone was down by the harbor. Then we can go into the mountains where you get Kihavahine, Mauna Kawahine. On the other side of there is Iao Valley, so you get the Kane on the east and you get the Wahine on the west. That's knowing your vahipana inside and out. And we all got to know that, because if you claim to be from Kaula, Kahoma, Launiopoko, Olowalu, Ukumihami, you've got to know something of that place. Why? Because the people out there, yeah, their job is to prove you're not the person you claim to be, because you know nothing about your area. They hired, yeah, and paid to discriminate everything about you, just so their interest to land is easy to grab. Okay? Malama your past and they shall malama you. If you know you get iwi kupuna within these parameters, it's your responsibility to make sure you take claim to them. Don't let the state take claim to something that it doesn't belong to them just because it's a legislative law. Yeah? You got to take hold of those kind of things. You got to own it. Okay? And always know who your friends are. Perfect example, what's happening on Saturday. Friend or foe. The reason as to why she coming here is to educate us about genealogy, or to give one heads up on West Maui Land Company who they're being hired for, yeah, by saying that, okay, we had a total of 150 families that have an undivided interest claim to all your lands. We need to start doing the workshop and discrediting them. Okay, that's happening right now. Okay, next, your kipuka. Mauka tumakai. What is the responsibilities of your kupuna? Because it might fall within the parameters of your responsibilities from yesterday all the way till today. Okay? Your whole vahipana. Like when I talked about, you gotta know everything about your place. Okay? This is Kuia. Kuia is the lands of Princess Ruth Keliʻikolani. Yeah? Now under the management of Kamehameha schools. So that whole Kuia area, where my PowerPoint went? Shoots. That whole, see where you get Pilani Hawaii, that whole area is Kuia. And that Kuia property is managed by Kamehameha schools. Okay. Oh, there we go. So yeah. Right from Pilani, Hawaii, all this is all Kuia, that's all Princess Ruth. Okay? Okay, more here. Now I'm talking about the old names of these mountains now. Okay, more here. More here was the protector of Lahaina back in the mythical days. Say more here. Here means scorched back, yeah? So you know when like you get one pig, when all of a sudden they get scared, the bristles go up on the back. That's more here. Similar. Okay? Then we get Pu'ukahili. Pu'ukahili is this backdrop that separates Iao and Mauna Kawahine. And Pu'ukahili is also in Abraham Fernando's book where they had the meeting of the cloaks with Kahikili. And their concern was about this chief named Kahahana, to send Kahahana to Oahu to check on the chief in Oahu because the chief was kind of lazy, eating off the fat of the land, treating the people kind of a little bit crazy over there. So Kahikili sent Kahahana to Oahu to govern over the lands of Oahu. And Kahahana, believe it or not, was from this Ahupua. Kahahana. Okay? He was sent to Wahiwa to govern over the land. And Kahikili also sent Ka'opulupulu, which is the kahuna of Kaiwaloa Heiau in Olowalo. Okay? So when they were sent to Oahu, Ka'opulupula was the kahuna of Kuholowelo Heiau in Wahiwa in the Ahupua of Kaiwaloa. How I know that? Because I had to go over there and do a presentation for all the kupunas back 20 some odd years ago. Okay, Mauna Kawahine, Te Mauna Kawahine, like I said, Mai Kalahiki a Kalakau, in the rising of the sun to the setting of the sun. In the rising you have the Kane, which is Iao, and in the setting you have Mauna Kawahine, which is the Wahine. There's a mo'olelo that talks about this mo'o that was born in Mauna Kawahine, shot out from the bosom of Mauna Kawahine, sailed into the South Pacific, the umbilical cord detached, falling into the island in the middle of the ocean, forming the island called Te Pito o Te Whenua, which is Rapa Nui. Then the mo'o landed, took 2 giant steps on the island of Bora Bora. On the island of Bora Bora, there's a mountain there, and I was there about 15 years ago. Went to Makesa and Bora Bora, and there is a mountain called Te Mauna Te Wahine. Similar. Ko'oka, Pu'ehu Iki. So Pu'ehu, you know that cemetery down over here, they call them Pu'ehu Iki, yeah? Yeah, you know what that means? Dust devil. Pu'ehu. So little dust devil. So on the top of here is supposed to be Pu'ehu Nui. In Launio Poko and lower side Waine'e is Pu'ehu Nui, the huge dust devil. Okay? Then Manawai Pele. So Manawai Pele is the short valley that goes up here, and it ends right around the corner over here because the ridge goes up. Kaula goes all the way inside. Pi'ilani Hawaii. This is the Pi'ilani Hawaii that is talked about in the histories of Hawaii, where Kamehameha came, and when we were in Pi'ilani Hawaii, cutting off the water supply to Lahaina town, This area right now, I have a proposal in Commitment Schools for them to transfer Kuleana Land over to us as stewards so we can clean them and put water back inside Kuleana Land. Okay, there's a bigger story to that too. I figure I'd share that at the end of the slide. Okay, and Kawa Ula. Kawa, you and I, Ula, anything is read to us is sacred. So, Kawa Ula to us means the sacredness of dualities. That's the place where I'm from. And because of my court case, when stem around this whole area, it brought reverence. So for years I've been telling this story on how all these little puzzles kind of connect. Now we're going to start getting into the title now. Okay? Okay. Okay. So this is one topo map. And believe it or not, this map was done by Maui Land Company. Yeah, so they can file in one of my court cases, pinpointing, you see the red house? My house. So that's my house. So I've been stuck in court for about 12 years. My father's house is over here, separate land commission award. So when the judge saying, why you guys like get them out of there? You're only gonna move 10 feet across the line. So Maui Land Company just said, we just want them out. He says, okay. And my last case on this was Makila when doing William and when filed criminal property damages of $85,000 for me putting back the taro patches and all this kind of stuff. So I'm all good with that. I can handle $85,000. Yeah, because what I get coming up on them gonna be 3, maybe 4 times more worse. So yeah, but this is what I wanted to put out. That property over there is a property that I won in 2007 jury trial. Yeah, that the jury made a determination that Maui Land Company owns nothing, whereas Keeaumoku Kapu owns the interest of 6507 to Apa. Okay? And that's a 3.45 acre property, including the easement of the road, comes to a total of 3.63 acres. So they're trying to evict me out of here. So I said, I'll go peacefully. And I move from here, not to my father's property, but I move all the way in the back, and I said, building my homes over here now. Okay? The next property to that is Kaya. Okay? The next property, Namau. There's a bunch. That's Puali. Naopala. I. Ka'ai. Olala. That's where my dad's house is. Opunui. Up further in the valley, you have Kupeamoku, which is the Malo line. David Malo, that's Kupeamoku. Then you have Namaka. What else? Kahulanui. So Kahulanui is Tutuman of Kanawale Valley. Okay? Then you have Esla Ahili. So that Esla Ahili, they're claiming, you see this red line that Maui Land Company drew, and it goes around here, which automatically is saying they don't own E, yeah, but they own everything else within here under Esla Hili, which was on Konahiki. I would challenge them on the validity of title on this area because this property I can show was on Pualima that belonged to the king. Pioneer Mill claims to own crown land, so I challenged them, and we're still in court. Even though if they get the $85,000 hanging over my head. We were actually waiting for Judge Cordoza to sign the final order so we can appeal it. Once we appeal them, then I bring in Miss Dilly Willie Kahi into my case on subpoena.
Trying to find the descendants for Lima.
Yeah. No, it's kind of funny because Peter Martin said, he showed me a clock map that he bought. When he bought the property from Pioneer Mill, Pioneer Mill gave him the clock map of Kaula Valley. Wow. So he met me over here when I was running the hui, and he said, "Hey, Keeaumoku, I wanted to ask you a question. Do you know who this Poa Lima guy is?" So I tell him, "Yeah, that's my uncle." But Poa Lima is public lands, only for the benefit of Kuleanas that live within the area. So if you get one property, then right next is on Poa Lima. It's your fiduciary duty to malama that Poa Lima at the same time, because that Poa Lima pays for your commutation fees of the property you're living on now.
Right.
You gotta understand that, especially for Napais.
Right.
When you guys go home, you better look at the topographical map on how many Poa Limas is around the area, and I bet you get plenty. So that becomes your responsibility to malama that Poa Lima. Okay? Princess Root, Kelly Kolani up on the top. All this property here is Kamehameha schools, like I said. Okay? Okay. At the same time, this is really, really important. So I pulled this map I found in Pioneer Mill when I met with, what's his name? The client. Yeah, Jim Riston. Jim Riston was the president of Pioneer Mill back in 2000. So I went to visit him to ask him for the key for the gate. And he wanted me to sign one paper. On the paper says, they allowing me permission to enter on their lands. And I said, I'm not signing this paper because I'm not going on your land. I'm going to my land. And we talked about it and says, how about just a nice little handshake like how they used to do me in the old days. So he grabbed my hand, shook my hand, and he gave me the key. As soon as he gave me the key, I went over there to the gate on the bottom. I went open up the gate and I went add my lock to their lock. Yeah? Which that was the start of a new beginning for us. But at the same time, he gave me a whole bunch of maps. And these are like, I think it was like about 60 something maps. And one of those maps was this map. And this map is the actual taro patches and outline of our property. So this is Olala. Yeah. And it kind of goes like this. It kind of goes like this. Then comes out back over here. So this is my house where they say that I say illegally encroaching on Poa Lima. So what I did was, and this is submitted in the record for my court case, where family cemetery is, where 2 barrels are on the roadside, where other related barrels is on the point when you come in the entrance of the property. You have the barrels over here, and this one is kind of infamous. They're famous because it belonged to one chief. His name was Mia. He has a sister named Loma. There's about 6 barrels in this area. Yeah, one over here. This is where our pig pen was, and there was an infant barrel by native testimonies from my great-grandfather to my grandfather to my dad, showing where the properties was and the most sensitive areas that he said we can do nothing around, for either fence them off, stay out of these areas. This one is big. They say probably total of 19 barrels within this area. Tutu Kealo's house still on the map. Everything in gray is what I put on to show the courts that there are barrels in here and our operation of all our lo'ikalo. So if you notice, they get numbers over here, yeah, numbers over here is what Pioneer Mill was claiming to be taro patches in Ka'aula Valley. So they numbered these, they gave the sizes of them, yeah, but they never do these in this area because this Tutu Wahini's property. So they stayed out of this area by showing that they had any claim in here. They left all those taro patches. So this is being used as Exhibit A in our court case to continue the battle, and it's still pending. So why this is important is because when you guys start doing your affidavits on how you guys going make your descendancy tie from you all the way down to your next generation and your next generation. These are the kind of things you also got to add inside. The topographical map, where the house is located. And this picture, believe it or not, we found about 8 years ago, and it was in the Big Island at the Lyman Museum. So this picture, yeah, my Tutu Waiini's house over here, that El Taro patch right here. This is, you're going to see them on the before and after. We get the awai on this part over here. This awai goes down to like Launi or Poco.
Wow.
Yeah. Then where they took the picture is on Pi'ilani Awai, looking down towards the property. And there's all these, and we cleaned this already, you know. So we see all these terraces where the water came down when into this Loikalo, into this one, and came down here. Yeah, so that's before. And this is Tutu Sam Kapu and Julia Kealo. They was married. Tutu Julia passed away in 1933, and Tutu Sam died way before her. Oh no, after 1939. So they're saying that our Tutu Sam when signed up property over in 1959. So we're saying we don't know who that. Our Tutu died in 1939. So that's one of the discrepancies that we get. Okay? Okay, and this is the after. Before and after. So for people who think that I live in one cave up in Kaula Valley, no, I don't live in one cave. So this is everything that, yeah, this is everything that was able to establish. The Mapele is over here. This is our area where we bring students from the university, from Punana Leo, for La Hoi Hoi out there. We bring students up there for teach them about food sovereignty. The cemetery is within this whole stretch right here. It's the one I pointed out on the map. There's another cemetery up in this area. The barrel interment is over here, and down on the bottom is where the other barrels. And you get the pig pen over here. Right on this inside, they get a big kuahu where the baby was suckling. One infant barrel was buried there. So we malama all those kind of things. And they tell us that they're charging us for criminal property damages to this land that they don't even own. Okay? So getting back to the affidavit, when you start doing your affidavit, every little bit counts. Even this, the before and after picture, so you can show, yeah, that the land is fruitful, and the vision of what we have is literally to try to educate other families and have them, you know, we get all the time in the world. And I tell everybody, the best thing for do, if you get Aina, fight for your Aina. You have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. You have more to gain than to lose. Okay? Knowing your Kuleana, what Kuleana is all about, and this is it. So some of the identified features on the barrels that is out there, these core stones, yeah, the coral blocks, actually came from Moku'ula. You know, when they took down the mausoleum, Auntie the Kinds, what's her name? The one live over here?
Bernice.
No, huh?
Auntie Bernice no pipeline.
No. Well, Kaho Hala Hala stay.
Yeah.
Auntie Levy. Levy, yeah? Yeah? All the core stones to get in front of their place. From Moku'ula. You go down Front Street and you walk alongside the beach. All the old Hawaiians that still live there, you look in their yard, they get core stones from Moku'ula. So when they took down the mausoleum, a lot of those pohaku, yeah, it wasn't taken to build that fake fort over there. You guys know the fort not real, eh? The fort. You know the fort next to the courthouse? Yeah? That wasn't prop. So they built that for, you know that movie, no. Well, that was part of it. That was part of the film. But was the other one? Something. 12 o'clock, yeah. There was at 12 o'clock high. Yeah. So that they're claiming to be on Ford. Come on. That wasn't a Ford. That wasn't prop. All it was a stage prop. But being it was there for 50 years, it kind of triggers historic preservation.
It became a tourist attraction.
Yeah. Yeah. So all these things you see here, like the barrels and stuff, if you find barrels in your Mauka area, you start cleaning them out and give them core stone, well, welcome to the family. Because that core stone most definitely probably came from Moku'ula. Okay? Okay. So now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. What I told you, I had these two forms, the barrel registration and the descendancy claim application. The reason why this is important, even though if you make your claim as a descendancy, yeah, through your affidavit, when you find barrels on a property, you pick up the barrel registration, you can go online, Department of Land and Natural Resources, State Historic Preservation Division, and look for barrel registration form. You fill out the registration form, you send them to SHPD, and you request for them to come and do a site visit to identify the barrel of your kupuna. Once they do that, they're going to give them a number. Okay? A lot of Hawaiians say, oh, but I don't like expose this kind of thing. Well, if you're not on the property and you don't, and these guys move in, they're going to get rid of them. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so you put them down on how the application tells you. Yeah. So literally what they're trying to do is trying to condense it to make sure that there is somebody buried over there. So native testimony from your families that can claim that there are barrels over there. It's not that state's job to dictate or determine whether or not you have or you don't have. Yeah? All you're doing is telling them to get over here and register this because for fear of somebody in the future going to come hunting in with this barrel. Yeah, and nobody going to know about it. So we want to register it now.
The history with Jackie's one, the can assist her, is a testimonial letter. There's a variety of families do know your kupuna is buried there. The starring history of the individual families know of the kupuna. Collect that and put it in your application. That is it. We know as your kupuna is there. They don't know.
Everybody
Yeah.
Everybody in the know that your kupuna is there.
Just
What you need to do is address certain families, key families from various outside your own localities. Ask us to write a little letter of recognition that we know it's your kupuna there.
what we also can do is get in touch with Kapulani Antonio, which is the chair
Right.
of the Burial Council, and request for this item to be placed on our agenda.
Because she probably has history of your own kupuna for that. How long
Yeah.
she's been there.
So, because I say that is because I just wrote one letter for the Napais because somebody from Oahu came over and did one site visit on the Napai property and said burial is undetermined, and it's left at that. So when Kamana came to me, told me that they gave him the shaft literally. I wrote one letter to Kapulani Antonio, the chair, and I will follow up with SHPD, Ikaika Nakahashi, and the line representative, Dane Maxwell, asking them, I want this item placed on our agenda for the next Burial Council. I think it's like May, second week of May, we go in front of the Burial Council. So she sent one email back to me saying, oh wait, well let's fix this, bring the item to the agenda and have the families come forward. Why that is important is because once you get the burial registration form, the next thing you gotta do is the descendancy application form. So when they say, okay, get barrels over here, the next step, you get that information with your affidavit, compile them together and submit them with the descendancy claim application. And you go in front of the Burial Council for determination of lineal or cultural descendancy. Okay? Why that's important? Because you're telling them you are that place. You're not from the place. And that is your responsibilities to your burials and nobody else. So literally what you're telling them is get out. Stop making determinations based upon my future heritage for my people and my children. Get out. You guys are interlopers. That's all you guys are. So once you do that, that even tightens your claim, yeah, to Oponui. And not just the burial, but every other property that Oponui also had. And you didn't get Oponui property in Hana too, eh? Choke. You get two right there. 10575 Royal Patent 1882, heirs of Oponui. You get two properties up in Kahoma. Yeah? Two, what is that? Apanas. Apana 1 and Apana 2. We already made the sign. Somebody already made the claim. But we don't think that's the right person that made the claim. Yeah? It's an open window for you. But in order for strengthen it, do your descendancy, do your burial registration for your kupuna that's stay in front of your place. I can help you out with that. Yeah? Let's get that started. Then we can go for descendancy application and get you down as a lineal descendant. Okay? Why I know this? Because I was the chair for the Burial Council for 4 years. And I served one 8-year term. So I know all the Robert's rules, ordinances, all those kinds of things, what you're supposed to do, what us Kanaka are supposed to do. And we're not getting any help from the Burial Council. We're not getting any help from the state. We got to figure this out for ourselves. I'm no longer with the Burial Council. I'm ready to rock. Okay, another thing, when you start looking for your titles, your Pala Pala Silanui, it'd be good to get it transcribed in English. Okay? I got all these royal patents, land commission awards, everything right here. Everything in this book is evidence. I get a lot of royal patents, land commission awards that are already translated from Hawaiian into English. I got hordes of them. And that's not mine. I'm just infatuated to know what it says. So I sent them to Oahu, yeah, to a linguistic in Oahu. A good friend of mine is a Makau Kaolelo for me. And he does everything and sends it over to me. The exact. So Mele Pang is a linguistics and he knows 4 different dialects. You know Hawaiian had 4 different dialects? Yeah, had actually once upon a time there was more than 4 dialects. I think there was about, yeah. Every family had their own dialect. Every family. Now all of a sudden Kanaka language is like collegiate already. Yeah, like the kind hamburger. What they call it? Hamapuka. Where the hell they got that from? Huh? Where the hell they got that from? Hamapuka. Like the kind, what is that? Bathroom, lua. It's not lua. It's lumi ho pau pilikia. Right? So, yeah. Get Royal Patent Land Commission Award, transcribe them in English. Why? Because if you read them, it doesn't only have the meets and bounds, but it also has kind of a native testimony on what was on the property, where the location, how many taro, how many kula, what I had areas we had breadfruit, you know, all that kind of things. We're missing out on a lot here. Yeah, and this is all part of the Palapula Silanui. This is an old map, 1882, of that area, which I just talked about. Okay, this is the most important factors to consider when you start doing your research. Any archival health record, certified document, court record, probate, census, native testimony, even more level that shows your direct relationship to an event or place and time, and the history of your entire lineage, which resides within the shoals of your lineal descendancy connection to the Kuleana you're seeking. Okay? All that. Okay, and here's the affidavit. Like I said, I provide this stick for families to help them out. Our classes that we do over here every Thursday, No cost you nothing. Yeah? All this coming from Akua. Okay, so we start off the affidavit, and we take donations too. It starts off with the affidavit of state of Hawaii. It goes to the state of Hawaii, county of Maui, and it doesn't go into the regular system now. What we bank for is directly for the land court, not regular system. Anybody can file in the regular system. It's like you're just saying you're putting information inside there. Yeah? Under the land court, yeah, total different story. Because that document later on going to be used when all of a sudden you find out you have an undivided interest to lands you never knew you had. Okay, so when you do them, you might come across birth certificates of kupuna who was like about 47 years or 50 something years at that time, that they created a birth certificate for our kupunas of the past. I would say that's genocidal. I would say that is wrong because of many factors or many reasons, that in order for us to be complacent in the society that we had to have these kind of things provided. Yeah, so like if everybody understand, when one baby is born today, that baby is born with a price tag on them of $6,600 and something. Yeah, and that is because the United States went into bankruptcy in 1932, 1933, and they owe money, yeah, to the world out there. So they're using all our birth certificates as collateral, yeah. And I welcome everybody to do the research for themselves.
That's a big leap. You say that all the information on this is fraudulent.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you know what they tell kupuna? They tell, well, in order for you to have one job and work in the state of Hawaii, you gotta have one of these. And all of a sudden, he was born in the time of the monarchy, he was protected under the covenants of the crown, now being subjected by somebody else's rules, saying, let me take a picture, I'm going to create one birth certificate for you, just so you can hold down one job. That's bogus that. This is most definitely a war crime. Definitely a war crime. Yeah? Oh, no, let me get off on this spot. We're going into another world. Okay? Then remember, when you put your information forward, starting with you, birth certificate, that's me. So when you look at the birth certificate, it automatically shows my mother and my father. Paul Kekai Kapu, and my mother was Barbara Pualoke Ha'o. And look, they say both of them get Hawaiian Chinese. My father is pure Hawaiian. My dad is pure Hawaiian. But nonetheless, you know, we're not trying to get to that point. We're trying to make that direct claim, right? And just so happens, we already made the correction. We got rid of the Chinese. All it says is Hawaiian. Yeah. Okay. And here's my father. And all this really counts because it shows Dad and his parents, Harry Kapu, Julia, Manuia. And that's why that's how we related to the heirs. I'm the youngest of the heirs, it's the Manuias. Okay? Pokekai Kapu, married to my mother, Barbara Pualoke Ha'o. And I never even concentrate on the Ha'o side. I know the Ha'os get land in Big Island, in Oahu. And my mom passed about 3 years ago. And before she went past, she told me, son, are you going to take care of our side of the family too? Until I get over these hurdles, then maybe I might pursue it. Okay? So literally going all the way, great-grandmother, okay, grandfather. Now we're going into the deeper stuff. 7719 to Hayakekai. And that's in 7719 Haya. Keahi swore he has seen 3 sections in the ili of Ma'o in Olawalu. Land is from Kalaipai Hala, who had received it from Keopuolani at the time of Kamehameha I. Haya died in 1848, at which time his son Keawe Haya Jr. received the land by bequest. No objections. Here are the metes and bounds. Here are the boundaries, and that's all the boundaries and everything on the bottom. Okay? So that becomes an exhibit on affidavit. Then here's another one. Census report shows Keawe, Kekua, Pono, all these people, Haui, Kauhi, Kanoi, they're all not necessarily all family now, because Kekua was on Konehiki. Back in 1878, when Wahine was on Konehiki, because it shows in the probate, not the probate, but in the census, another census, that Kekua had to kick out this one person because he never paid for $25 of the commutation fees. Wow. So that was in my court case. That I thought was kind of interesting. Okay, and here, all this also, Native Registry 396, 6507 to Apa'a. And if you look at all the other testimonies, you get Kukahiko, foreign testimony, notice of the subject land, the testimony on the bottom, Namau, Ehu. And that's my mother, my grandmother, so my great-grandmother, Julia Kianai Namau, yeah, who was given to Kaiwi and Kapololu of Lahaina back in 1878. So all these things, then once you finish the affidavit, making the chain of connection from you all the way to the mahele, yeah, the last thing you do, get it notarized, public notary. Once you're done with that, you can send them directly to the bureau, or you can give them to me and I can send them for you, because I go through and track, yeah. Send them to Ohana, who is willing to walk it in. And normally, I always got to say this, that when you file in your document, if it goes 51 pages, you're going to pay twice. So stay exactly at 50 pages when you're filing, or less. You can go less. If it's like anywhere between 20-something pages, it's going to cost you about $41 for filing. Okay? And here's the beauty of it, ladies and gentlemen. Once you file, once they send it back with the stamp on it, that becomes your argument. That becomes your legitimate claim, yeah, to testing everybody on what they own. Like Makila Land Company, West Maui Land Company, they cannot own 100% of an undivided interest unless everybody in the census in 1878, I get 15 census over here. Now, if you look at the census reports on here, it shows that some had about 7 families, all related, brothers and sisters. Some other one had like about 12. So if they can show me that all 12 when signed over the property, yeah, then maybe they get something. But then that's another argument. If only one went sell, and they're claiming to own all that property just because one will sell this undivided interest, everybody got to sign over their interests. Yeah, that's why it's an undivided interest split amongst all the heirs. Okay, this is all straight up information. I'm not trying to misconstrue anybody or guide them in the wrong direction. My kuleana after my court case, yeah, is to find redemption, not just for myself and my family, but for everybody else. That is on the stick with all the resources. Hawaii Government Archives, you can go digital collections, Hawaii Kipuka database, Papakilo database. So we put one kind of a list of resources that you can go for find resource. Okay. We're going to do a 10-minute timeout. Okay, now back to just small kind clarifications. Remember now, whatever you guys can get, family photos, any kind of stuff, all those kind of things. Huh? Oh, yeah, check. Okay, so family photos is really important. These kind of photos, because this photo was taken in 1919. The scary part for me is, how come this photo was in Big Island, in the Lyman Museum? was in the Lyman Museum. So when you start doing family research, you might want to go to the Lyman Museum, because we found Kahoma and Kanaha's tail patches in the Lyman Museum too. Yeah. Yeah, so interesting, yeah. So I think Lyman probably was sleeping with ʻAikane, Baldwin's ʻAikane. I don't know. Something would happen. Yeah. Oh, I just forgot. My wife is a Lyman. Sorry, honey. I'm just checking it out. I don't know. You never can tell. Because never had fence in the old days. Only had pohaku. The wall was only small like this. Only easy for jump over. Okay, so old pictures are really important. Okay, and here you go. This is Kanaha's tail patches. Yeah? Kanaha's tail patches. The valley we just went. And this old man used to live in a cave. His name was Kukuia. House on the cliff, Kanaha Valley, Lahaina. Okay? And this one. Around big house way in the back of the intake. Yeah? So these photos was in the Lyman Museum. So I don't know, are we married friend or four or what? I don't know, I gotta check. Nah. I just joking. Cheered. Okay? So remember now, okay, now, for my place, and which most definitely, when you start pursuing your Kuleana Land, you're gonna find out that all of a sudden, somebody been encroaching on your property, yeah, that they may have to owe you one back pay for like power lines, water lines, you know, all this kind of stuff, yeah, that was put in without you even knowing. Now, if all of a sudden you find out that kupuna never get due process and never get nothing from all these guys profiting on the property, I think that's one of the benefits you might want to look into later on down the future.
Wow, damages.
Yeah? Damages. So just to let you guys know what's happening in the area, in my area, the reason why I'm asking for the careship appeal on your wife is because I'm going to put the water back inside. And where the water comes from, there's a 4-bay with a pipe that goes all the way across here, right down to the hydro plant. So they're taking 100% of the surface water, turning them into hydro, and so they can get the wells that they're in drill on the other side to the electricity. Yeah, it's on the Lineal Irrigation Company. So, because of my case, that pipe is still on my property. So we can either do two things: retro from 1923 when the pipe was installed, yeah, and monthly, or else I take the water, I take out the pipe, it's on my property illegally, and I put the water back in Keeaumoku Kapu. Yeah, which they're going to lose the capability of operating the hydro plant to source the wells that they drilled. So, big time things we're talking about in the future.
So the Civil Code of 1859, Section 1477, that's a major violation.
Oh yeah?
Because they're diverting the water and it encroaches upon your water rights.
Yeah, I don't think the state water commission like Seaworm, they don't get into litigations when it comes to that. The water commission, which I filed against the land use back in 2005 to 2007, when I brought out the Kumuli versus Horner case, and the land use stayed away from it. Because they're saying that case is all water. Well, when we filed the declaratory ruling, we were telling them that how can you do an agricultural subdivision? Water is the key component to doing ag. They threw my case out, and they said that they was kind of a little bit scared at that point when I brought in the Kumuli versus Horner. Now that case was went through William White, Joseph Navahi, Richardson, and the Magoons. Yeah, 4 of these people was the attorneys for the case, and Kumuli, the plaintiffs, a whole bunch of Hawaiians, and I can show you the case. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. Swearing in the managing members for Kuleana Land. Supposed to be this meeting. We're going to have to defer that because we got to go to the state office tomorrow and find out what happened to our LLC. Yeah, once we get that boosted up, then we're going to pull everybody in as managing members. I need everybody in as managing members to address the issue on water. You know, I always like saying that liquor is for drinking and water is for fighting. Well, that's what we got. Okay, so Kamehameha Schools is surveying this, and I've been telling them for years that Piilani Hawaii they own. Princess Ruth Keeaumoku owns Piilani Hawaii, and now only today they're saying, hey, I think we own the Hawaii. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, what's the next step? So the next step is if I can get Piilani Hawaii, we're going to need planning help cleaning this up and restoring the water back inside. The most historical Hawaii that had to do with the battles followed by the Battle of Kakanilua when they came this way. And they were looking for Keʻeaumoku when Keʻeaumoku was hidden in Ukumehame first. Then when Kamehameha hit Kakanilua, they automatically take her and hide her in Halawa Valley and Molokai. Yeah, that's kind of like the whole legacy of my whole story. So it's like embedded in my brains already. All this resonated from this area. Okay, so this picture was right after the big fire, the last fire. Palakikos, oh shoot, okay, oh dang it, going wrong way, come on. Oh, they don't like, okay.
I'm glad I saw Keeaumoku there because Keeaumoku get Kuleana at just off of Wahikule.
Yeah. Keeaumoku, that's the Keʻeaumoku line. And you know Nika. You ever heard of the name Nika? Nika was the feather gatherer. The one made the capes. Over here. Okay. Let's get back to this. Current slide. No, not from the beginning. Okay. Okay. So this is the fire that would happen right after, just recently, last year. So you get the Dysons over here, and you get the Palakikos right in this area. Palakiko lost 2, Dysons lost everything. Everything. Every house gone. When I took the... Yeah. They got hit after. Because they stay inside the gully, yeah? So everything, because the winds was blowing like 90 miles per hour. This is where the hydro plant stay. That's where I live. Okay? When they draw the grid, they said the fire had to have started someplace within this area. So when I took the fire department up, lo and behold, the transmission lines from the hydro plant. But then, yeah, but then they said, oh, the hydro plant wasn't running ever since August. But for me, I can attest, and my whole family can attest that the hydro plant was running the whole time, every day and every night.
And so when they first saw the flames, was coming up from there?
Yeah. That's where it started, someplace in this area.
But then the Angus said the same thing.
Yeah, and because the winds was blowing so fast, Yolanda and Kuleana got burnt within 45 minutes, bro.
Wow.
That fast. So, if you look at the topo, kind of interesting on how all of a sudden the new subdivision went burned, knowing they got to do a cultural impact assessment in this area before they start developing it. No, that's just my hunch that there's more to the story that people perceived it to be. But that's our life. And I tell everybody, when you start pursuing your Kuleana lands, there are consequences. For us that live in the valley, twice this one happened to us. Twice. Okay? Okay. So now, once you do your affidavit, once everything is done, we make your signs. Okay? This sign we made years ago when we first got started, HRS 708-815. We started to play around with the commercial codes. Yeah? And try to get to one point where we get the jurisdictions, yeah, on a private level. And that's why we started making the signs with this. But one fear about this is you can get sued. They can file one lawsuit against you for nuisance or whatever. So that's a risk you gotta take. But Keʻeaumoku royal patent to the Kailiho family, this all of a sudden, Miss Kahi is claiming to be a descendant of. Yeah, which we already went up that road already when it comes to the determination of her property, which she claims that West Maui Land Company, when purchased the Tutu's lands, that she's not going to get them back. So that's why she's doing this work, because West Maui Land Company, if she does enough of this work to help them out, she thinks that West Maui Land Company will give her Kailiho property back. That's what this whole thing is all about. Okay? Okay, these are the signs that we're going for. That says, Wakoi ke Kuleana Nakanaka, private property, no trespassing, land commission award, and royal patent, subject heir to KHPA, Ko Hawaii Pai Aina. Okay, so we're putting ourselves back into the de jure government. Yeah? Kind of similar to, you know, like the Larson case, when the Larson would challenge the state of Hawaii. Literally, Larson would challenge the kingdom of Hawaii. Yeah? So when he was in The Hague, the judges would look at the United States and says, hey, are you guys responsible of the rights and benefits of the state? Oh, the state went like, no, that's not us. Yeah, because they never like take on the responsibility of the de jure entity or government, which is the kingdom of Hawaii, which automatically told us from that point on, the crown's still here. The crown is still alive. Yeah? And because of that, that's why we're pursuing all this. That one day, yeah, the crown may come back, but we're already going to be in there already. But what it does right now to this point is answers the subject jurisdiction matter question. And what is the subject jurisdiction? These lands under the indices that was awarded to the heirs from the time of 1843, yeah, is still intact and are still the de jure governing body for the Kuleana. So when you start talking about where is your meeting house? Where is, you know, because to be a part of a nation, you gotta have your land base, right? So long time I'm telling everybody, the Kuleana is the land base because the government fell asleep. Yeah, the government is sleeping. There is nobody over there operating the government's Kuleana responsibilities. You get a kahi, but that's all a kind. He claiming to be a kahi ike Kuleana. Now that he's taking it way back before the time of the monarchy or before Kamehameha. Yeah. So that's where he's trying to grab his authority. But under a constitutional regime or a constitutional monarchy, who is that entity that's supposed to be protecting our interests? Right? Started from the Kamehamehas. Okay? So then now you get that other entity, the lawful Hawaiian government. Now, they still the lawful, or they call themselves the reinstated? It's either reinstated or the lawful Hawaiian government. That's another entity. Then you get Bumpy Kanahele under the Kingdom of Hawaii. Then you get Dane Aipolani from Kauai, the nation of Atui. Yeah, we get too many Indians, not enough chiefs. So the bottom line is, I'm a Makainana, yeah, and I have Aina that was awarded to me from the time of the kingdom, and I can stand on that basis alone. Until we can find out what the remedy going to be for bringing everybody together to one table, this is the remedy for us, and that's the Makainana. And from that, I can see great things If you get 500 filing their affidavits and pursuing those lands out there that belong to them, that's the new regime. That's the nation that's being built by itself, all on legitimate, lawful claims. Not having one person filing something in court or filing something in Hague or being recognized throughout the world as an entity for the benefit of who? Because they're not doing any work for us. The whole thing it boils down to is we got to stop doing the work for ourselves in order for us to get ahead. You believe? Right?
I like what you're saying, people. Look at the crown can come back until the people come back anyway. And the laws are written to ensure that the
I always live by this this term, and came from Molokai, from Pakui Heiau. When all the kahunas went on Pakui and they prophesied the death of Hawaii. Yeah? And they said that the chiefs are no longer here to govern, that the people shall rise like a great wave and cover the land. And the term was Hoali Kanaka Lepo Popolo. Hoali Kanaka Lepo Popolo. The chiefs are no longer here to govern. They're sleeping. The government is sleeping. It's still alive. Yeah? But there is nobody that want to assert the position, yeah, to bring it up. So the Makainana got to be ones through the simple process of reconciliation and redemption for the basis of them and the connection to the kupuna. They're going to bring this so-called government back. I believe that. Okay? Nakai Kuana, is on Nakai Kuana. This one an interesting story. The reason why I made this sign is because I got a call one day from one of the families, and the family said, "Hey, uncle, the cops stay up here with the surveyors. Oh, what they doing up there? Oh, I don't know." So, captain, well, I'm not going to mention names, right? He was a captain, and there was a lieutenant too, was escorting the so-called surveyors up on the land, and some of the boys, our nephews, our ohana, who live under the code, went block them in with the bulldozers and trucks. Then I got the call, and this captain says, "Mr. Kapu, we have every right to be here." And I'm like, "Where are you?" He goes, "Oh, we stay on the Kuleana Land, the property." "Oh, what property?" "The property, the one where all the family's houses were burned." "Oh, you guys have no rights being there. You guys have no egress rights to even be on that property." So I told him, "You know what, I'm coming up." Jump in a truck, drive up there. Then sure enough, I had this Humvee and pull me over. About 4 or 5 police officers went jump out. And I thought it was going to get ugly, but they came up to me humbly and they said, "Uncle, you can tell the boys to move the bulldozer." So I'm like, "Huh? What do you mean move the bulldozer? Why?" "Oh, because our captains is stuck in the property." "Oh, what the captain doing inside the property?" So I went to Rakai and the boys and I told them, "Hey, what you guys doing? Move the bulldozers and the truck. The captain stay inside there. You guys lock him up inside there." Well, it's kind of classic. So they moved the truck, the captain comes out. I have a document of a settlement agreement in my hand, and I said, "Here you go, captain, this is for you." And fast it says, "You don't need to show me nothing, you don't need to give me nothing, it's a misunderstanding, I'm out of here." So automatically they find out that they're in a predicament, yeah, that now they're the ones breaking the law. All on the basis of helping out one foreigner who claims that he will buy all these lands for $15 million with warranty title deed. So we pushed them up against the wall and said that, "Hey, you know, if this thing was fully in another direction, we'll all be getting arrested today." He never said nothing. They were all jumping in their cars and they was gone in 3 seconds. Everyone that was there, they was gone, like poof, magical. A week later, they call. They want to meet, they want to hold pono, make things right. And our cousin was so upset. she only stood there, sat there laughing, which didn't offend them. Almost got ugly, but cousin said, you know what, everything is all good. It's all fine. You guys are all good. Come to find out, brother was going to retire in like 5 days, yeah. You know, like that hanging on his head, like maybe on lawsuit about him illegally trespassing on somebody else's property. So these kind of things, when I say there's consequences to going home, the consequences are not bad, you know. It's pretty good. All the risk and everything that we're going through just to find clarity on what is lawful, what is right, what is our right, what is subject jurisdiction. When we look at these things as pertaining to where we are and where the de facto is, that's worth fighting for. All that is worth fighting for. And when it ever gets to the point as to where they may file something in court, I've been in this for 21 years, and I'm going to be fighting more battles. Why? Because I know they don't own everything. All the information that I've been provided with, this book, for instance, was given to my family from Wahine, a Japanese Wahine that the husband was hired to research family's genealogy. Yeah, and everybody, all you guys' names stay inside this book. All the census reports in 1878 is in this book. Everything is in here. Okay, which only shows that Pioneer Mill was worried that they specifically hired one individual. Yeah, Japanese man. I'm going, because of the respect we have for the Wahine that provided us with the information, I'm going to keep them confidential too. She doesn't have to live with the wrath of what her husband had to endure, yeah, by discrediting every family that had land in Lahaina. Is all in this book right here. Yeah, and how they was able to steal your lands, yeah, right from under you. Right from under you. The Kubunas at that time never know what they was involved in at that time. All they knew, because we fell under a different regime, all they knew is they never like get in trouble. They never like lose their job. That was all they had provided for them. You either work for the hotel or you work for the mill company. That's it. Once you work for the mill company and the hotel, you become somebody else's puppet. They never know that. The next generation, that's us. That's us, the next generation right here. We're going to make a change to those kind of things. We need to provide clarity so we all know. So, these are Kauula, all the heirs. Yeah, and we're still looking for more. Then in Kahomakanaha, these are heirs, Haya, Opanui, Napahi, Kelipio, Kaumiumi, Keahi. You get Nika, you get other families inside here, but let's start with this, right? Okay? Okay. Okay, and that's it. And we're doing this for who? Them. Okay, so that's why we meet over here every Thursday. And we open the door to everybody on Thursdays. We're at 5628 Front Street. And like I said, every Thursday we kind of get into a lot more different things. And one of those things that we really want to pursue is the formulation of Kuleana LLC to get the heirs back online, plugged in, so we become a functional body. We're not asking to be the kingdom, yeah? All we're asking for is to have the ability to make sure that we're at the front of the table and not at the back of the table. That is really important. All the information that is provided in this building through years of collection, that don't belong to me. It belongs to everybody. But what we try to do is say, you guys get on camera, take plenty of pictures as much as you like. I get some printers inside there. You guys like print information. And this is all free. The printers I got is big printers, so we can print plenty of stuff inside there. You guys can go at it The archives, all the books, the genealogy, all that stuff is inside there. Yeah. And I don't know where this is coming from. Everybody say, hey, you do a lot. I go, no, I just a motor. Somebody else driving this car. I always consider myself the motor and you guys all driving the car. Okay? So once and for all, the male eye is ready over there. If you guys hungry, we'll go grind at the same time. Any questions before we peel out? Anybody? Any questions? No? Okay. And what I'm going to right now in final is I'm going to share the video that Tita will go do for us. So maybe you can share with us a little bit the vision. What made you do this? Put us all on the spot. Because you said, Uncle.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead. Go film your wahine. And why are you here? Before I turn this video on. Then maybe can get some feedback from everybody. Did everybody see the video? Yeah.
The reason that I'm here in this building right now, or why I'm here in Hawaii at all, is we just moved back. My husband over there holding the camera. We moved back from the U.S. where we were. Our kids were born there, and we came here to be of service, really, and to raise our children here among Ohana. That's why I'm here in this building. So I'm usually on that side of the camera. So I don't have really anything else to say. It was very special and it meant so much to be there on that day. And so I tried to just put everything I felt into the video. So I hope that it came across.
So as we watch what Shireen provide, mahalo. As we watch what Shireen provide, maybe if there's some errors inside that you guys like clean up. It's up to you guys. I don't know. Luella not here at the moment, but she had some good things to say. And literally what she said was, Josh, remember everybody's face. This is all family. Yeah. No hano inu, the family. And that's what she said. Yeah. So it's good. Like for me, like for us, we've been doing this for years, but we never ever thought of picking up the camera. So normally when I do something, I just live stream them, but I meant different things, but it's never about what I do. So I think now is the time for start filming what we do together, to get the message out there to everybody, to say that our lives are not impossible. It's possible. And like I said in the beginning, it's worth fighting for, because you got nothing to lose. Nothing, right? Even more. Okay, let's check out this video. Mahalo no kako, everybody. All right.